So Metagross in Pokemon Sword and Shield has really good stats. Like, he is a pseudo-legendary, so that helps him a lot, but he has really good stats with his 80 attack, 80 health, 130 defense, and 90 special defense. So he's really tanky, plus being steel is a great defensive thing. 135 attack's really good too, so he's bulky with good attack. 95 special attack is decent, it's not terrible. 70 speed, same. You're not gonna outspeed a lot, but at the same time, you're not super slow. And his abilities are Clear Body and Light Metal. Clear Body is a great ability for physical attackers because you can't have your attack lowered. Also, Clear Body is just a really good ability because you can't have any of your stats lowered, so you don't have to worry about your speed getting lowered or Intimidate or anything like that. His other ability is Light Metal, which is an ability, mainly because all of the things really that Light Metal affect don't really help him. Like Grass Knot and Low Kick don't really affect him as much. I think actually Metagross has something unique to where even with Light Metal he takes the same damage for those moves, so there's really no reason to run Light Metal. And back to his typing, which is Steel and Psychic, it's pretty good typing. You're weak to Ground, Ghost, Fire, and Dark, but look at he has a lot of resistances and immunities. Like, he's immune to Poison, but he resists Normal, Ice, Fairy, Flying, Rock, Fairy. I think I said Fairy Flying, I meant Ice Flying. Steel, Grass, and he has a 4 times the Psychic, so he's a lot of resistances. Plus, being this bulky is really good for a tank Metagross. But one of the ways to use Metagross is really to take advantage of his bulk and just max health, max speed, agility first turn, and just try to pretty much take everything out. Because you're so bulky, you can survive 2 or 3 hits. And especially since you only have 4 things to worry about super effectively, you don't have to worry about very much. But agility, get your +2 speed, and then you just take everything down with Meteor Mash, Zen Headbutt, and Earthquake for that other coverage move. But pretty much you want to run double stab with Meteor Mash and Zen Headbutt, and then really Earthquake. You can run Earthquake. I like just the coverage of Earthquake and being 100, but he has some other moves. I wouldn't use Hammer Arm on this one because it lowers your speed, but Bullet Punch if you want priority. Ice Punch for like Guard Chump and Dragonite and some of those matchups. You could also run Iron Head instead of Meteor Mash if you're worried about that 10% chance of Meteor Mash missing. But he has pretty good coverage though. Other Rock Slide for flying types and stuff like that. He learns pretty much, I think he learns all the punches actually. Let's see, he learns Ice and Thunder Punch. So he has pretty good coverage other than that. With a Life Orb too, just try to get the most damage. Because you're bulky enough to where you could survive 2 or 3 hits even with Life Orb recoil. But a Dynamax Metagross, I would say actually to run just max health, max bulk. Don't even worry about the speed because you're so tanky. Plus the double health pretty much effectively from Dynamax. And I like the Citrus Berry just so you can guarantee to survive another hit. But Steel Roller, Earthquake, Hammer Arms, Zen Headbutt. Zen Headbutt brings Psychic Terrain. Earthquake raises your special defense. Steel Roller raises your defense. And Hammer Arm raises your attack. So you can play around it a little bit. You don't really get much from this one per se. Like when you Dynamax the Psychic Terrain, it makes this will do more damage Dynamaxed, but other than that, it doesn't help you that much because of priority. You're already slow, so they outspeed you probably anyway. But getting a +1 attack with this is really good with Hammer Arm. And Steel Roller is going to do a ton of damage Dynamaxed. So other moves you could run though on Dynamax, Self-Destruct if you want to, just for an all-out powerful physical or just stronger hit. Let's see. I wouldn't really run Dynamax. I would run Hammer Arm over Dynamax Punch though, because Hammer Arm actually has a use to un-Dynamax, especially if you don't have speed investment. But I wouldn't run Body Press if you're not running speed. And then you have the punches, Rock Slide. I wouldn't go much lower than this though. You could throw in maybe a Thunder Punch, Rock Slide, or Ice Punch if you want that coverage. You just have to watch out for the Hail. You might want the Electric Terrain in doubles, or the Sandstorm might be really good, especially for things that are sashed because you take out their sash with the Sandstorm. Or if you want to run a Sand team, you can do things like that with Metagross against these Steel. But again, another tanky Metagross, pretty much 4 offensive moves and Assault Vest to raise your special defense, max health, max attack. Pretty much just makes you a wall that does a ton of damage. Also, this one actually is really good with Meteor Mash too, or Bullet Punch too. But when you run Bullet Punch, you have that option of, do you want to have 4 coverage moves and have your stab be Bullet Punch, or do you want to run 3 coverage moves and Bullet Punch? So you kind of have that option, but I do like Bullet Punch on this set, just because you hit them once, do a lot of damage, and then you finish them off with Sucker or Bullet Punch. Maybe they're sashed, whatever. That way you don't have to take 2 hits if you don't need to. But again, stab, double stab, and then whatever coverage moves you want. Like some of the other ones he learns are, you have to run physical, you have to run attacking moves though because of that. because of the assault vest. So like Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Rock Slide. Facade's good if you're worried about getting burned or anything like that. Rock Tomb lowers their speed, so you could hit them with a Rock Tomb and then finish them off next turn if they're slower. Same with Bulldoze. I wouldn't really run. That might be about it. I wouldn't run Gyro Ball because you're in a weird speed tier. But Steel Roller is always an option, but it's such high risk, high reward, because if there's no terrain up, or Steel Roller, if there's no terrain up, it just fails. So it's really high risk. If they don't use a terrain, then you just have a move there just because. It is good though against Dynamax Steel Roller, because if they use, like if they're Stab Psychic, well maybe not Stab Psychic, but I don't know, against Metagross it's not the greatest because they're not gonna hit you with anything. Because you resist Psychic so heavily. You resist Fairy. You resist Grass actually, don't you too? Doesn't he? Let's see. I think he resists Grass too. So you could switch. Actually, you could switch in on it. Switch in on a terrain move and make use of that, and then use a Steel Roller to get rid of it. Or you could do like something in doubles to where your ally uses a terrain move and then you just get rid of it just so you can get that extra damage. But again, this is just like the tanky Metagross, but more focused. Like it's pretty much actually now it's pretty much the same as the tanky Metagross with Assault Vest, but just more damage. This way you two-shot everything. You attack, you take a hit, you attack, and then you finish them off with Bullet Punch. Is the plan with this. Again, 3 coverage moves. Yeah, or you can run Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch. I would, if you're gonna do, like with this one, I like Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch, just so you have that stronger Steel move, and your arsenal, you have this stronger Steel move. But some of the other moves Metagross learns are, something else you can do with Metagross is Trick, and then either Scarf in one of the choice items. He's fast enough to where you can make use of it against, especially against something that's slower that you know, or something you know is gonna try to set up. Body Press is a good move if you put Body Press in Iron Defense for a full defensive tank. That's really good. Flash can, like if you want to run a special Metagross has really good special coverage though too. Even though his special attack is lower, 95 versus 130, it's 40 points lower, but he still has pretty good special coverage. And he also learns, does he learn it? Yeah, Sludge Bomb, which Dynamax raises your special attack. So that's also an option. But some of his special coverage moves are like Psychic, for example, Flash Cannon. He learns Steel Beam. He learns Steel Beam too, even though it takes 50% of your health. He learns Meteor Beam, so you could Power Herb, Power Herb, Meteor Beam, because I think it also raises your special attack, which is really good. You could also Expanding Forest, especially in doubles, or if you already have a Psychic Terrain out when you bring him in. That now does double damage, or it does 1.5 damage, I think. He also learns Cosmic Power, so if you want to really run a tanky Metagross, it sucks he doesn't have recovery, but Choice or Cosmic Power, something like that, because they can't lower your stats, which is really good. Some of the other things he has, Shadow Ball is good, Psyshock if you want a special one, if you want to hit them physically. Icy Wind and doubles, Icy Wind and Bulldoze and doubles are really good as more of a support, especially if you have a flying type next to you and with Bulldoze. Let's see, Hyper Beam, just if you want that one shot to finish something off. You know you're getting KO'd anyway. Magnarize is also low-key a good option. Like low-key if you can set it up right, but it's not really worth a move slot. But that's how you use Metagross in Pokemon Sword and Shield.